Hey everybody, it's Cynthia Maynard from CynthiaMaynard.com, and I hope you are doing well today. Today I have a silhouette tip for you, and this could very well apply to Brother Scan and Cut and Cricut. I don't have a Cricut, so I don't know. I'm hoping somebody will give me one to review. To talk to you today about mats, okay? Because I get different questions about this is sticky, about mats and paper, and recently Silhouette on Instagram featured a card I had made, which was really cool. So you can go check that out. My Instagram handle there is Maynard Cynthia. And they featured the card because it had, I probably should have grabbed it. I might have it here somewhere. Take me too long to grab it. But I cut out a word hello in really fine detail. I did the shadowing effect. I have a video on that as well if you want to check my silhouette playlist. But the fine hello was really, really delicate. And a lot of comments on there were saying, oh, I could never do that because it's, you know, everything rips. And so people sometimes have problems, and there have been times I've had disasters. Things have ripped. I always try to do... well, let me just dive in and tell you why. Talk as I go instead of standing here all day lecturing you. Anyway, so I'll bring what I was going to say up later. So you have basically two things to think about when you're cutting something out, right? You have, if you're going to do a cutting file, let's just talk cutting files today. Of course, there are a million things you can do with your silhouette, but just a regular cutting file. If I want to make a flower, if I want to make a bag, if I want to make a word, and I'm just going to cut it out with the design. And so I have to consider what mat I'm using, and I have to consider what paper or material I'm using. And I think my camera might be crooked. Sorry about that. Let me figure that out. To consider with mats. I have a few of my mats here. I have my original mat. I always keep the dust cover, and I know you're going to laugh when you see this, but it is pretty kind of gross looking. But you know, I leave it like that because I want a low tack mat. And when I first got it, I'll show you what the new ones are like, because I just ordered some recently because I needed one that wasn't low tack. But you can see I've got glitter on there. I've got all sorts. Now I need to clean this up a little bit better, and you can clean it with like a baby wipe and let it dry, and its tackiness should restore. It won't restore to its original condition, but you'll definitely get some tacky back. So just take a clean baby wipe and scrub that down and let it dry, and clean that off. Also, you can take, this is my Brother Scan and Cut Silhouette, has their own tools, but to get these bits off, okay, you can just kind of scrape at that and get that off that way. Okay, so if you're leaving little bits on there, because you don't want to, this shouldn't be on there. I was like a cutting machine the other day, literally. So anyway, so this tacky mat here, if I know that I've got a super intricate design, I will tend to use a less tacky mat, because you know, paper, when you have a paper, here's a piece of Stampin' Up! Cardstock. It's very, very thick. Their cardstock is about 80 pounds, and it's layered and fibrous, okay? So it's great cardstock, and it cuts really well, and it holds boxes really, really well, and I love their cardstock. It's one of the reasons I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. But on the mat, okay, if I were to just put that down on the mat and cut it out, and then I go to take it off, there are two ways you can do that. The way that I find best is to kind of bend it back a little bit and kind of start peeling the paper. If you feel like the word's not coming off of it, put it back down, okay, and start again and go underneath with your spatula and pick the word up instead, and then hold the non-cut part down while you're picking the word up. So you're just going to have to try to test and see how that goes. Alright, so the Stampin' Up! Paper cuts really well. And I find, though, that if it's on a super tacky mat, like here, let me show you the difference. Take that off. Let me show you this really quick. It's just a smaller one. You can get different sizes. So That's fun. This is my new mat, and it is super, super tacky. Now I have to clean it. I did do some cutting on it, but let me see if you can hear the difference. Can you hear that, hopefully? That is how tacky that is, opposed to it's very lighter. It's not anything like, you can almost, when I was peeling my paper off the other day, you could almost, some of the glue is coming off. So it's super, super tacky, and I had some casualties with this, as you can see here, hopefully. There are some bits of fiber that's actually stuck there, which means that there was some paper layer rippage. And I had to start again. So you have to make a decision about considering how you want to approach it, depending on what works for you. Now, Silhouette does have a test cut. I want you to draw your attention to the test cut option. It is in there when you have your design ready to go and you hit send, and you can pick your material there. Down in the lower left-hand corner, it will say test cut. Go ahead and hit that button, and in the upper, like if I have a piece of paper on here, okay, and I put my mat in like this, in the upper left-hand corner, it will do a tiny little square with a triangle in the middle. And what that will do for you, you can just exit the, unload the mat, and you can kind of pick it up and see if it has cut through. And what that does is that lets you know, do you have the right speed, do you have the right pressure, do you have the right setting. Now, I will give you a hint, okay, because I had to learn this the hard way through a couple casualties of my beautiful Stampin' Up! Paper. Stampin' Up! Paper, in my opinion, though there is a selection for 80-pound cardstock, I use the cover stock option. And what that does is it changes the pressure to about 33. And that may not be what you need to do, but I'm just gonna throw that out there. If you're having troubles and you're using thicker cardstock, whether it be Simon Says Stamp or Stampin' Up, I know they both have thicker, good quality cardstock. So any good quality cardstock, you might want to try the cover stock. It's going to cut slower. It's going to go down to, I think, like a 1. And you might have to be a little bit more patient, but it really doesn't take that much longer. And when I did that, my flowers, I was making a bunch of flowers, it came out beautifully. It really worked for me. I was getting frustrated because I was using the 80-pound cardstock feature, and it wasn't doing it. It was still sticking to my mat really badly. So use the cover stock, C-O-V-E-R-S-T-O-C-K, cover stock. So little hint there for you. Next, I want to mention, what if you have a cheaper cardstock? Okay, so this is some Recollections. Got some glitter on it. This is some Recollections cardstock. It's very much thinner. Now, I like Recollections cardstock. I use it for little bits of things, and if I want a lighter weight cardstock, they have some pretty colors too. And to be honest, it's so cheap that often I will practice something on this rather than dipping into my Stampin' Up! Goodies, because I just will, because so that's I keep Michael's cardstock around for that purpose. So but anyway, if you're using a thinner cardstock, you can just go ahead. I know with Recollections in my sticky mats, I just use the regular cardstock option, and it works well. So that's me. Again, always do the test cut. For my daughter's birthday, this is some Nina gold glitter, not glitter, but gold shimmery cardstock, which is good quality as well, Nina cardstock. And this cut out really, really well with the 80-pound cardstock. So the Nina might need that. Stampin' Up! Glitter paper, as well as I've used Dollar Tree glitter paper. I don't know about Joann's or Recollections, but the Stampin' Up! Glitter paper, which is really nice quality, but it has that bit of a backing on there, and it needs to go slower and more pressure. So whatever, glitter paper option on there. Now that is, they will tell you that has been tested with their Silhouette glitter paper, okay, so they're not going to say this is just the end-all for end-all glitter papers. So for Silhouette glitter paper, you're good to go. Just hit the glitter paper and it knows what to do. Stampin' Up!, I also hit that glitter paper, and it works for this glimmer, what they Stampin' Up! Calls it glimmer paper. So just FYI on that. So let me see if I left anything out there. So we talked about cheaper. Keep your dust covers. Keep them covered. It's nice for stacking them up too, so you don't do what I just did. If you get one, and like you can order a 3-pack of these at Amazon for a pretty good price. You get them for about $10 a piece, and which is not bad, especially if you have a gift card. I got mine for free, so I had a 3-pack. So I have 2 that I haven't even opened. I have my original one that I'm kind of using as a low tack sticky mat, and then I have my super sticky one that I have to clean up here with my spatula. Okay, you can see the little bits can come off there. You can also see I've kind of cut into my mat a little bit. That's not a huge deal. You know, I don't know how long that'll last, but it cuts fine when you put something else over it. So, I mean, here's my little test cut like that. So hopefully that helps you out. Yeah, it's a great machine, and don't get frustrated. If you use that test cut option, please. If you have your mat, we're all at different sticky levels, and you know, you can buy a low tack sticky mat as well, just FYI there too. If you're using more delicate things, like if you're using fabric or something like that, you might want to put like a backing on it. There's certain tips and tricks, but don't get frustrated. Use the test cut, and when in doubt, use something that you don't use, a scrap piece of paper or something small that you don't care about very much, and before you're like me and go cutting out a whole sheet of your 12 by 12 Stampin' Up! Paper and you bombed it. So, and then you got to take a craft knife to it, and I am terrible with craft knives. So anyway, it's a great machine. Just use it. I thought I'd throw that out there. Just tips about your mats, and hopefully that's helpful to you. Hopefully that wasn't too much rambling. I'm sorry. I kind of thought of that, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to share that with people because I spent all last week working through that myself. So I thought I would just, that's why I make these videos. I throw it out there for you, so in case you need to use it, and in case you need help with that particular thing, there's somebody else in the world that that had that problem too and has worked through it. So I want to encourage you there. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you are new here, and stay tuned for lots more projects coming your way. Check out my playlist. I've got lots. I've got over 300 videos there for your viewing enjoyment for free. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day.